Hello there.
Well, hello there, troopers, and welcome back to General Economics Bunker. Thank you so much for joining us here on another fine Wednesday night. Um, on another episode of The High Ground. Man, it feels it's been a while now to think about it that we've been on an actual Wednesday, at a regularly scheduled.
Regular scheduled time.
Right? It's been
Yeah.
dang, I think we're going off just over a month now that I think about it.
Actually, I believe it was 4 years.
Yeah, right, exactly.
If we're counting
Yeah,
Andor
it was a
time.
long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But yeah, welcome. Thank you everybody for joining us here. Missed you guys, missed you. Been meaning to chat with y'all. It's been good, and I hope that the first half of your week is going amazing. And if not, hey, tomorrow's Thursday, and that already kind of smells like the weekend. So hey, just hang on. Oh, Memorial Day weekend actually, right? So
Hopefully, everybody gets that extended break.
yeah, exactly. Very much so. Hopefully. I keep forgetting. It's been a long time since at work since we've had an actual day off. Holiday. I think the last one was in January. We have a big, like, long stretch of like no holidays for a few months.
Yeah, you can't really count Easter because it's like
No,
it always
we don't
lands
get
on
it.
the weekend. So they're just like, nah, man.
Yeah,
Y'all are
exactly.
off
We
on the
don't.
weekend.
We don't. Yeah, we don't get it officially. I think. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that's right. I think the last one that we got was back in January, and then we don't got anything till Memorial Day, which is it's a long stretch. It's a
That's a
long
long
stretch.
stretch, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's finally coming up, and man, it's like summer is basically here. It's kind of crazy.
Definitely felt like it today. I walked outside and
Yes.
instantly just sweat. Like, it's gonna be hot.
Yeah, it's starting to get to the I gotta carry an extra T-shirt or two, weather out here in
Yeah.
in Texas. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, dude, we went to walk the dog just before this. I was like, nope. I don't know why I was like, dog, you don't need this.
Nope. Wait
You're
till
gonna
winter.
pass out too. Yeah, it's way too hot. So yeah, dude, it was, and it's. I mean, obviously the sun's coming down, but yeah, you can still feel it. That's for sure. But yeah, thank you guys as always for joining us and for hanging out here with us, and for I'm gonna kick things off here because Brett jumping the gun with the $10 donation. So thank you for that.
How did this happen? We're smarter than this. Apparently
Giving
not.
us the shout out for the 85 right there.
I was gonna say with
heck of a
this leads
milestone.
us, yeah, it leads us right into today's milestone here for the channel. We really appreciate you. We hit 8,500 subscribers, so thank you as always for all of the support, watching, commenting, subscribing, obviously, sharing the content. That honestly helps a lot. So first of all, thank you so much, Brett. We really appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? It's funny you mentioned a Bunker Bunch T-shirt. I've been mulling over the idea, and I think I'm gonna use. So now YouTube lets you basically link your products, right,
Yep.
on the channel. Unfortunately, it's only with a certain amount of, or yeah, a certain catalog of vendors, right? Which I've never really worked with, but I'm like, it's the how can I say it? The streamlined, experience, right, for anybody visiting the
The easy
channel.
button. You just want the
Exactly,
easy
right.
button.
It's just right there. You're watching the video and you're like, yeah, you know what? I kind of like this logo, or I kind of like this dude. Let me support him. Like, boom, click, takes you to the store. So, to answer your question, Brett, I think soon. I think soon. I really do need to sort of get that arranged, and whatever, make an account, upload some of the designs, etc., etc. But I think we're gonna be using that, for YouTube. It's here anyway. Might as well. But once again, thank you so much, Brett. I really appreciate it, man. And thank you also again for congratulating us on 8,500 subscribers. Thank you to Mike, actually, because I think it was the grand majority of his followers that rallied on those last few, like,
Give 'em a
what
little
was it, 5, 10, that we were just so close. And I was like, all right, it's time to put out the call. And Mike was kind enough to share it, and I'm pretty sure that's how we got it. So thank you for that. And yeah, man, 8,500. It's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy because 10,000 doesn't even sound that far fetched no more. which
No,
is
they don't.
insane to say, to be honest with you, because never would I've even imagined to be talking about the possibility of, like, the real possibility of having 10,000 subscribers. It's insane. But yeah, hey, it's definitely not that far off anymore. So thank you to everybody that has stuck with us, all throughout this years. Actually, at this point, it's been a few years. Um, Actually, today we are exactly 1 month away from our 4th anniversary of the channel, which is, again, kind of crazy to say. And we'll definitely, be planning out a nice, little stream and giveaways for that date, as we always do every year. We'll probably have like an open mic, so start thinking if you like to join us here on stage. Like I said, that's gonna be in exactly a month, June 21st. I forget what day that lands, but we'll try to work it out. If it's a weird day, then maybe we'll push it a little bit. But regardless, we, more than likely we will do something. We always do for the anniversary of the bunker. 4 years, man. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. A lot of stuff that's happened. But yeah, that'll be more for reminiscing for that show. Yeah, so let me jump right here into the chat. We already got a few of you dropping some comments, and as always, we really appreciate it. So first and foremost, we got Mike pulling double duty, saying hello, peeps. Let's get it going. Let's go. We got Ultra Cutter in the house. Talking about his pickups from Target, WWE Elite Legends 26 Kurt Angle, aka Peak Angle. Good job.
Actually took a peek at some of those because he mentions those a lot, and I also don't know half of those figures. I know the old school figures, but there's a lot of new faces there. I might have to try to get acclimated here, but yeah, the figures are looking a lot better than what I remember back in the day.
Oh yeah, that is for sure. I don't know if you saw. Man, Ultra, you got a lot of pickups coming your way. Good job. Mike saying thank you to Brad. Appreciate you, brother, as always. I don't know if you saw Yak Face posted, I think, was it today or yesterday, that people are now swapping the old Krennic figure for the new one.
Yeah.
And returning it, of course. And he posted a picture. I'm like, man, we used to think this looked pretty good, like back in the day.
Dude.
And now, oof, it is rough. It is rough. They don't age well, like, let me tell you. Now there is something to say about, having the first edition or having the first go around of the character in Black Series, for example. But still, you definitely can tell the difference that almost 10 years has made, right, between those two figures. Yeah,
got all the Andor ones. The first Andor, you don't even know who that is.
All of them, bro. Like, yeah, somebody who posted their hunt video recently, I forget, but they got a shot of the new Andor, in that badass like tie suit pilot. I think that's honestly just about the only one from that wave that I kind of like. That suit is dope. Like, that's one of the dopest flight suits I think we've seen in Star Wars, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, you can tell that's Diego, right?
Yep.
Whereas the previous one, I was like, dude, I have no idea who this person is. Like, it's some sort
Rebel
of like
Trooper 1.
Yeah, or like it's like a police sketch of somebody, that's actually real. Like, it's kind of a weird mixture of things. Let alone,
kind of dark. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, dude, seriously,
he was
yeah.
running.
Exactly, yeah, pretty much some sort of apparition. Got Freezy in the house saying, "What's up, General? Congrats on 8,500, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much." He said, "I just ordered Luke Skywalker's vintage X-wing. Ooh, which one? Are we talking vintage collection? Are we talking?
Oh yeah.
Are we talking Micro Galaxy Squadron? That chase that's meant to look like the vintage X-wing, or are we talking about the like vintage?
The vintage
X-wing?
Yeah, big boy.
Yeah, exactly. Let us know, Freezy. Let's see. Ultra, man, picking up from everybody to Mercari. How's Mercari, by the way? Has anybody still? I mean, besides Ultra, has anybody? Is anybody still selling and buying on there? Back like 3 years ago, I did a little bit of selling, and it was pretty good. But from what I've heard, they've messed, of course, with the with their policies, and like they've changed some of the costs, and I think they pass them along to the buyer and things like that. But I'm not like I haven't been on the platform in a long time, so I'm just kind of curious to see if anybody is actually selling. Let me know if that's still a good is it a good platform still? Hey, look who it is, Janine. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you joining, Janine. Thank you so much.
Yes, man.
First and foremost, I'm really really happy that that Scott is back home, right where he belongs. And I just I've been texting. I try not to overwhelm Janine. I want to text her all the time, but I'm like, I know everybody's probably trying to do the same, and she's got her hands full right now. So I've been trying to not like over text her. But Janine, you know that we're with you. We are thinking about you and Scott, and we're super happy that you guys are doing better. Okay. Just know that you will most definitely come out stronger after all of this. And I think it shows, the support of the community. So if you need anything, please let us know. You know how to get a hold of us. So exactly. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And again, sending you a big hug to you and to Scott. And yeah, prompt recovery and much strength. Janine says, "Congratulations, thank you, much appreciated." I'm gonna make you some. Ooh, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm down.
I think
We
he was
got
talking about
Sexy Flexi in the house.
shirts. He was talking about shirts. He was
I
going to do
think
some
so.
crop tops for us.
Yeah, hey, I'm ready. With the heat out here, I'll take it. Sexy Flex in the house saying, "Yo, hermano, sub bunker chat. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. Thank you, thank you." We got Marta in the house saying hi. We got Luis doing the same. We got Flex saying, "Congrats on 8,500, General." Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Um, it's a bit of a slowdown, if I'm being honest. We had a little bit of a slowdown, but still advancing, still moving upwards. So I'm very very happy about that. Like I said, it's crazy to say, that it's a very real possibility that we will get to 10,000 subscribers, right? Which again, it just blows my mind. I still can't
We
believe
got
that.
some big events coming up too.
We do that. We
could
do.
potentially
So
help boost that.
yeah, absolutely. And guys, if you've been following the channel, I'm still not done with all the Japan stuff. It's been a lot, and I'm sorry, but to be fair, I did warn y'all that a lot of that stuff was coming. I told you a month ago, hey, I didn't spend a few K just to go out there and not film a bunch of stuff. So I've been dropping, videos as much as I can. I still got a few in the pipeline, to be honest. And it's a bittersweet like process, right? Because one, I don't have to worry about filming. I already have a bunch of stuff filmed, so now I just gotta edit. But as I'm editing, I'm like, oh, I wish I was there.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, oh man, that was cool. Like I really enjoyed that part and stuff like that. So I'm there sometimes, like not even editing, just like looking at the pictures or like going through the video, and I'm like, damn it, man, like get back to it. So yes, guys, still plenty of Japan stuff to come along. Um, if I'm being honest, I've been dreading filming my whole video. That suitcase is jam packed. All right. But it's got to get done because we're actually going to use it soon. So the wife's like, all right, you got a couple of days. This has to get undone. So yeah. Hopefully I'll film that within the next few days. Post it. As things are going, probably early next week. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Like I said, plenty of more content coming your way. And as always, we greatly appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, that you consider doing so. And if you already subscribed, that you consider sharing the content, with people you think would enjoy it. The 8,500, is an insane number. But like I said, yeah, we think I'm pretty confident we can do 10K, within a reasonable amount of time. So let's go for that. That very saying, everybody. Ultra doing the same. Hey, Ultra says flex. Hey, Magic Mike says flex. Ultra says, Daddy Vader, the women's elites today are much better than the ones from 2010 and mid 2019, as the older women's elites had very limited articulation and definitely improved over time. Elite 72 Becky. Nice. Hi, Ultra says Janine. Freezy saying, I sent you a photo of the box on Instagram. Oh, I'll check that out in a little bit. Let me start pulling that up. And
But I do
let's
know like
see,
the facial scopes on like
of
all
the
toys have
X-wing.
gotten ooh, of the X
Yeah, yeah,
might be worth a peek.
the
But yeah, the face sculpts and the painting on them is like I remember as a kid, like you would get like a figure and it was just like two black dots and that was the eyes.
pretty much.
And now we get like actual color, we get the white of the eyes, and it's like the head didn't get bigger. Y'all just got way better at painting these dang things, or
Dude,
actually
yeah.
listen to the fans of like, hey, can y'all do better?
Yeah, dude, that's what I was gonna say. It's it's sometimes I feel it's like one thing with the other because I've seen or I have some like older toys. They're called Exo Squad. They're from a show that not a whole lot of people know, but I love their toy line because it was uber detailed. Like it's one of those where the toy is actually better than the cartoon, and that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, nah, yeah.
And their level of detail is just like outstanding for the mech suits. They're basically exoskeleton suits, right? But like you said, like the faces of the actual humans, you're like, oof, that's rough.
That's very rough.
That's
Yeah.
not great. Yeah. So yes, absolutely. In terms of portrait, um, we've come a long way. And one thing that surprised me, so a couple of years back, we had an interview with Sarah Lynn Reynolds, who's a freelance sculptor that does a ton of work for Hasbro, right? So technically, she doesn't work for Hasbro like per se, but Hasbro contracts her, to do a bunch of sculpting. Of course, a lot of it Star Wars and other properties. And one thing that kind of surprised me when I was asking her about portraits, right, specifically, is that they don't actually get, as much like actual scans as I thought they did. Because, like Marvel movies, they'll scan those people like
Yeah.
left and right and up and down, and, they'll do all kinds of stuff, when they're filming, right? And I was like, oh, do you guys get like, some of the files of like the face? And she's like, not really. She's like, I've gotten maybe like once, that I've gotten an actual scan portrait of the actor, and she has done actually a lot of Marvel characters, right? And I was like, really? I was like, so do you like sculpt from like scratch? And she's like, yeah. She's like, we get, obviously we get a bunch of reference photos, right, and things like that. She's like, but no, we're sculpting, that's our sculpt, like we actually do go through it like from scratch. I was like, dude, that is insane. Like,
I
and
wonder
she's
what
like, yeah,
scale they start on. Like,
yeah, yeah.
do
So
they got to start bigger and then work smaller, or
yeah, I believe so. But it's
okay?
funny you say that because I did ask her like some of it they have to obviously sort of mesh with the engineering of the figure, right?
Yeah,
She's like, yeah, she's like, I've had figures that are beautifully like sculpted. I'm like, dude, I'm super proud of the way, this came out. And then the engineer comes in, it's like, yeah, we can't bend that arm. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, you're gonna have to, shave off like a piece of cloth, or um, like simplify the design because we need a joint there, like that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's right. Like, I mean, there is that whole mobility, to take into account because you're not making a statue, right? You're making an action figure, so it's got to move. So one thing that I was asking her is like, all right, like honestly, how many times do you go from like, oh, I sculpted the TVC and then I just blow it up, 50% more and it's a Black Series, right? And she's like, no, it doesn't really pan out like that. She's like, it's kind of its own thing. He's like, you kind of have to. She's like, of course, right? Like, if I get the exact same character, you do take a lot of reference, from the sculpt and stuff. She's like, but it doesn't really scale as much as people think. He's like, some stuff we can kind of reuse. She's like, but not nearly as much as one would think. So yeah, it's basically a whole other sculpt. Um, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like I said, the techniques. So let me share here. So there you go. Good job, Frisian.
yeah.
Very nice. That is one thing that the vintage collection does very well, especially as of late, is vehicles.
Vehicles. Yep.
And you cannot go wrong with X-wings. I mean, the level of details on the X-wings, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of great, actually. Congrats.
Very nice. Very good pickup.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Janine saying thank you. Scott is watching and says thank you to. Oh man, yeah, Scott. Like seriously, man. I'm so glad you're back home. I'm so glad you are, better. I'm not gonna say you're fully healed, but man, 12%. You are part of the 12%, my friend. 12%. Oh, you know what? Who's also part of the 12% now that I think about it? Kevin Smith, the director.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He actually had the exact same thing happen to him with the Widowmaker a couple of years back. And yeah, he's been playing off that card that he survived for like ever since then to try to get money and movies made. But hey, if it works. So yeah, you are in a very, very exclusive club, my friend. And I'm very, very glad that you got to join that club, Scott. So yeah, like I said, stay strong. You know, you're always in our thoughts. And yeah, man, do not hesitate. You or Janine to reach out if you guys need anything. Let's see. Regards to Mercari, I don't order much ever since it wouldn't let me order with Benevis gift cards and mainly order from websites. I order from the most like eBay. Yeah, I mean eBay is still king, right? I mean let's be honest. eBay is still king, but man, I tried to sell on eBay like I don't know a few years ago. This was a while back. But yeah, it's just not a great experience. It's fine when you're buying stuff because you'll find a lot of stuff you're looking for, right?
Selling's rough.
Yeah, exactly. But to sell it, yeah, they're not very kind to sellers, to be honest.
A lot of fees, and then you don't get your payout for like 20 days or something like that. It was something stupid. I was like, man,
yeah,
I'll just sell it locally and do cash.
That's what I was gonna say. Because if you're trying to sell something, and you will have a big audience, right? Everybody knows eBay. There's I don't know, probably millions at this point of users on it. So you will sell something quick. However, you won't sell it at a great price, and if you do, by the time you're done with the fees and everything that you have to cover as a seller, like you said, right? I'd rather just sell it locally and be done with it because I'm gonna end up with a very comparable amount of money, even if I sell it for cheap here. So if you sell a figure, let's say a $20 figure, you might sell it for, I don't know, $18, let's say on eBay, right? But out of those 18, you'll end up with like 10. Whereas you could probably sell it here locally for 10 and just be done with it, right? Like not bother about transactions and shipping and stuff like that. So it's one thing with the other. I know it depends on what you're selling to. There's some higher end stuff that, let's be honest, it won't sell locally, right?
Oh yeah.
Like it's especially if it's like niche, stuff. Then okay, then you're probably better off on eBay. But even then, right, you're kind of worrying if it's a higher ticket item. I'd be worried. I'm like, all right, the person who bought it doesn't put a claim on it, or like doesn't put a what do you call it, a return, right? Or doesn't open a case that it's damaged or something like that. So I don't know. eBay is kind of stressful.
I had a few figures that I sold,
Mhm.
and then they never paid. So then it eventually gets pushed back to me to like, hey, unfortunately, the buyer did not pay, so you have your item still. And I'm like, dang it, I gotta put it back. So I wasted like 12 days waiting, like send them a message like, hey, if you need it, pay. And then 12 days later, no payment. And then put it back on and wait a few more days and start the process all over again. Like, it's definitely a pain.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, Ultra Crown reminded you to please give us a like on this live stream. Really appreciate it. That'll teach the YouTube algorithm that we're doing just fine. But yeah, that's one thing that I always enjoyed with Mercari. Whenever you would sell, your buyer had 3 days to say anything is wrong with the package, right, or with the item. So you after those 3 days, Mercari basically just paid you. That's it.
Nice.
And done deal, close it, done. So that's something that I liked when I was selling. But again, this was back then. This is like a few years back. I don't know if that's still the case. As a buyer, it is a little bit stressful because you're like, all right, I'm not there. For example, if you're on a trip and the item gets there and those 3 days go by, right, and you actually didn't get a chance to open the item. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? But like I said, as a seller, I like that because I'm like, okay, even if they don't say yes or no, or there's a problem or everything's okay, I'm getting my money, but on the 4th day, right? So there was that sort of insurance like on it. Hey, what is going on? We got Pat's fan in the house saying, hey, General and Mike, what's going on, man? Ultra saying hi. We got Vicente. What's up, man? Welcome, welcome. How's it going? Good, man. Good. Just chatting up with the Bunker Bunch. Hey, Ultra says Pat's fan. Hey, X-Wing. Hi, Ken says Janine. Hello, Janine says Ken. Scott says hi. Hope you both are doing well. Yeah, absolutely. We are hanging in there. Absolutely, Janine. Scott says Pat's fan and so glad to hear. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Love you, hot Scott. Hashtag Scott Strong. I like that. Hashtag Scott wins. Ooh, look at that. You're part of the winning circle along with Sexy Flexi. That's a high praise right there. He loves you back, Sexy Flexi. Scott Strong, Scott wins. Absolutely. Hello there, says Jeff. What's going on, brother? Welcome, welcome. Dude, okay. So I texted Jeff a couple of weeks back, maybe like a week ago at this point. I don't know. Days blur. Because he bought a chair mat, like a computer chair mat, for those to like roll around of a stormtrooper helmet. And I literally had that in my cart. And I saw his post that he had physically gotten it. I'm like, dude, how is it? Like, let me know. He's like, yeah, I'll let you know. And then a few days later, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna order it. It looks cool. It's not that expensive. I do need, something for here for the station. And I'm like, I'm just gonna order it. So I ordered it. And then the next thing they're like, yeah. So remember that confirmation you got? We might have pulled the trigger too early on that. We don't got anymore. I'm like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah. Also, we don't know when we're gonna get anymore. I'm like, oh my lord. Like,
Yep.
he's like, but you can change it out for, and they gave me a few others, right? But first of all, none of them were Star Wars. And second, the Stormtrooper was kind of the coolest one. There was one like an Iron Man, theme that I'm like, that's kind of cool, but let's be honest, that's not gonna mesh well here. So
Yep.
I was like, nah. And then so they're like, so you can switch it out, you can cancel it, we'll refund you, or you can wait. So I was like, all right, whatever. I was thinking about it. And then today, because I forgot, obviously, today they're like, hey, by the way, turns out we might get some next month. So I'm like, okay. So it's been a roller coaster. So hopefully at some point I do end up with my Stormtrooper mat, but I will keep you guys posted. Let's see. So Passman says, well, I just wanted to drop in and say hello to everyone. 5 a.m. comes way too quick. I will finish watching tomorrow. Much love and support you all. Scott, Janine, absolutely. Thank you so much. Ken, really appreciate you, man. Get some rest. Oh, wow. You are right. Hey, Jeffs, absolutely. Thank you, says Janine. Good night, everyone. Good night, Pats fan. Get some rest. Janine, says Jeff. Whoops. Tell Scotty Keys hello. Absolutely. I will. I ran out to the trash and he's all walking around again. Nice. He's like, oh man, the Trooper one rolls pretty good. Sorry to hear that. Dang it, man. I was kind of hoping you were like, nah, it's not that great. You didn't miss out on anything.
It, yeah.
But nope. Jeff is like, oh no, let me put some salt on that wound. It's
the best mat I've ever owned.
Exactly. Right. It's the absolute best engineered mat I have ever encountered. Yo, look who it is. What up, cuz? We got Pop the Bounty Collector in the house. What's going on, man? Fresh out of ICCC. I've been catching, everybody's vlogs. Well, not everybody's, but,
Did you see the video of all videos, though?
Ooh, which one?
Where they pull a 1 of 1.
Oh, yeah. I saw it.
Yeah.
I started watching it, and I didn't finish it. But, yes, that's insane, dude.
Dude, astronomical on the odds on that sucker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, so ICCC out in Nashville happened this past weekend. Unfortunately, we were not able to join. There's some stuff that just kind of didn't work out for us. Nothing to do with your show, by no means. The show is great. But our friends, were out there in force, of course. Pop the Bounty Collector, Ricky was there. Tony, of course, was there. And several other, of course, of our content creator friends were out there. And so, yeah, guys, make sure to check out their blogs to figure out what you missed out on ICCC this year. The vendor space looked really good this year. A lot more space for sure, which I liked. But yeah, hopefully, everything pans out. If they're doing one next year, I mean, I don't know if it's going to take a break for a year or if it's doing one next year already. I would assume so. But yeah, we're hopeful that we can join that one for sure. Rick says that was crazy. Yeah, dude, that is insane. What a luck.
That's definitely one of the most craziest. Like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the whole story, but they didn't get that
I don't think
box there. He bought this box. I forgot who bought the box, but he bought it in Hawaii.
Oh, no way.
Like a year or two ago or something, just on a whim. He's like, you know what? I'm going to bring this to ICC. And then could have sold it. I'm going to rip it. They rip it and just not even like 20 feet away.
Yeah.
It's his auto. Like, what? Or his card. Like, what the heck? And like, get him to auto it right then and there. And it's like, holy
I know, right?
Nikes.
Yeah, dude, that's nuts. It's kind of crazy how that panned out. Ricky says, yes, I could comfortably walk around. Dude, there you go. There you go. That's a good metric right there. But yeah, so I haven't seen, like I said, all of the vlogs. I saw Ricky's, I saw Tony's. Missed you back, buddy. Yeah, I know. I saw a little bit of what Nilda was posting too. I think she did like an express, few hours, there.
Oh, she did the wham bam. Thank you, man.
Right?
She
Yeah.
jumped on a flight,
went in,
landed
got like
straight
14
into a
autos,
line.
jumped out. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Which is cool. Hey, I would have done that if I could find a flight, that worked out like that.
She got a crazy price on it. I think she was saying,
didn't she say she
bucks?
pays like $80-$90? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, how does that even? I don't even know that those exist out of here. Like,
like
I've
the
never
cheapest
seen a
one I
price
was
like
finding for us, and we were months out looking at the pricing, and we were still, hovering around that 300 mark.
Yeah, I think that was like cheapest, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, a few months back, and by the time we were kind of, for reals looking at pulling maybe the trigger, I mean, they were well over 400.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, for
you
$80
could get a cheaper one, but it was like ridiculous. Like, hey, guess what? You're gonna have the red eye, and then it's a 14-hour layover to your next flight. And it's like,
and even then, it wasn't that cheap.
It wasn't that much cheaper.
Yeah, it was still what, like, no, it was like around, like around 300 almost. Yeah,
or it's still 300. Like the cheap flights were 300. Like when we first started looking, didn't pull the trigger, and then the cheaper flights were like the worst ones you could ever have.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, hopefully we can join you guys, over there in Nashville next year. I don't know. Somebody had told me that he might skip next year. I don't know that he will. But yes. Scott said hello, Jeff. Nice. You going to Rebel Scum Con? Us? Yes, for sure.
That's our background, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say for us, backyard. Backyard that's still like 6 hours away, but backyard. So yeah, we are planning on going to it pretty much the whole weekend, right? We should be out there Friday, Saturday, and I think we come back on Sunday afternoon / night maybe. But yes, we will be out there. Ricky, you going? I thought you were going. So yeah, we're planning to be out there August 8th through the 10th.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you're good.
In Frisco, Texas. I think there's still some hotel blocks, left, some rooms in some of the adjacent hotels. Don't quote me on that.
Hotels. Somebody said that they actually got one at the host hotel, so maybe somebody canceled. Don't know.
That's what I was gonna say.
Or they didn't get the room rate. That's the other thing too, is they may have rooms available, but not at the special Rebel Scum Con rate.
Yeah.
So you could look, you may end up paying $20, $30, $40 extra. I'm not too sure what the pricing would be, but since there is a ton of stuff that happens right there, because we're kind of in the mecca of Frisco's like downtown, not downtown, but like their entertainment area.
There,
you could definitely play some extra there, but we got a really good deal, and we jumped on that pretty quick. So if this year goes off, the year 3, don't sleep on the hotel.
Yeah. So my recommendation is play it out a little bit like Celebration. If you want to stay at the host hotel, just be checking, honestly, like every night. Just check it. As we get closer to the show, people will cancel, because plans fall off
Stuff
and
happens. Yep.
exactly, like stuff happens and people have to bail out. But that's you're risking getting closer to the show, right? So if you don't want to risk it, again, I believe there are still uh, convention rates at adjacent hotels right around the
Yes.
event. And if you want, like Mike is saying, you more than likely you can book the host hotel, just not at the discounted rate, right, for the convention. So you might pay like if it was any other day, right? So keep that in mind depending on how much convenience you want to have, right? But yes, I'm kind of glad that we jumped on it. The list keeps growing and growing of guests.
Few
So
more coming too.
I know
Yeah.
we still got a few. I'd say pretty interesting guests coming. We can't say anything.
Yeah.
Um,
If anybody's
c-
been following too, they have not announced a headliner. So
yeah,
all the guests
I
that
was
they've
gonna say.
announced that, hey, I know that person, or hey, that's a big name. That's not the headliner yet.
Yep. So we got some. Yeah, we definitely still got some great announcements coming our way. So Rebels ComCon, let us know. Let us know if you're going. Like I said, we are definitely planning on going. If you are going, let's hang out. We'll see you out there. Like I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
our plan is to be there pretty much the whole weekend. Um, we are staying at the host hotel, which is a little bit dangerous because that's when you can buy stuff without worrying too much about it. And I think if everything goes along like last year, we'll probably drive there, which again kind of worse, just because you're like, oh, I'm not too worried about my carry on, so kind of have a
Mhm.
car for yourself. But yeah. We'll be out there. It's gonna be fun. The list, like I said, the list of guests is kind of nuts. So if there's somebody that is already been announced, I would say just jump on it, buy yourself, the photo op or the autograph, depending on what you want, or both. Honestly, a lot of them actually are giving out
The
combos.
combos are
Yeah,
good.
exactly, and they'll knock out 20-30 bucks like off the total price. So if you want both, why not? Like grab yourself a combo, save a little bit of money. But yes, like Mike said, headliners, it's not there yet, so
Yep.
just keep that in mind.
And with that,
um
once they do announce it, they did say that they'd like to come back here and talk some shop and talk about the con. So
oh,
we'll
absolutely.
have them on the books at some point again to go over everything. Maybe at
Yep.
that point they'll have some panels figured out to
Yeah, it'd be
some
kind of
more.
cool.
Yeah, more to
Yeah,
come.
exactly. We'll definitely keep you guys posted. We're talking to those guys, fairly constantly. So yeah, they're always welcome here in the bunker. And of course, we will let you guys know as soon as they announce, some of the stuff. We've been sharing their announcements. And like Mike said, they're working on panels, so which is gonna be interesting because with so many guests, they can put together some pretty interesting
Oh yeah.
panels, I think. So it's gonna be a good show, I think. And
They pretty much have the daddies of Star Wars showing up, the guys who
yeah,
put blood, sweat, and tears in it. So
yeah.
that panel would be super
Oh my
dope
lord.
to just
Yeah.
talk about the process, dealing with George like on a daily basis. Like we love
Right.
to hear those stories.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that, this sort of unseen, heroes for many years are finally getting more spotlight, So that's what
Oh
I
yeah.
love about this new type of conventions where they shine a light on people that basically shaped, our childhoods really. And we didn't even know their names for a long time. Let alone, their faces or let alone interact with them, right? So very, very cool. Ricky say hi to Janine and Scott. Alter says, "Oh, I thought RSC stood for ringside collectibles." It can, it can. Hey guys, it's Zombie Hunter. What's going on, Rob?
Zombie.
Hi, Ricky. Hi, Robert. Says Janine. Hey, look who it is, Big John in the house.
Big John.
What it do, boyos? What's up, man? Welcome, welcome. Our friend here, John, is local. First of all, here to San Antonio, local prop maker. So make sure to check Big John's Geek Customs over on Facebook. But he also put together his little own May the 4th event, which I thought was very cool. He had some vendors, he had some cosplayers. I spent some money because of him. That's fine. I'm not blaming you that much. My wife is though. Um, yes, so I actually bought. Oh dang it, I left it. It's in the other room. But I bought the Black Series Duck Ankar figure. The Ithorian with he's got like the two little holocrons and the sword and like the clone helmet. the one from Disney parks.
I was gonna say that was
Um,
it's a Black Series, but it's a Disney.
yes, it comes in a
Was it a
different
Galaxy
packaging. I think
exclusive?
so. I
Like you
think it
couldn't get
was.
that because it had the little logo, right? The little
Yeah,
Galaxy Edge circle thing.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that was an exclusive to the park. So that one is a tough one to find
yeah. And I never,
in
not that I
box for
never
sure.
saw it. I did see it, but it was kind of inflated in price as soon as it came out.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think this came out a year or two ago by now. Um, so the vendors were great at the event because they really brought out some cool like Star Wars stuff. Like pretty much all the vendors were focused on Star Wars, which is cool to see. A lot of our local, events, it's a mixture, right? Like they'll take some stuff, of course, related to Star Wars if it's a Star Wars event, but a lot of them, they're promoting. I don't know, like for example, their art, right? So
Yep.
or some of their creations, like if they do t-shirts and stuff like that, and it's not everything just Star Wars, right? But at Big John's it kind of was like everything was focused on Star Wars, which I enjoyed, because they brought out a lot of toys actually.
Yeah.
And so I picked up a couple of things. Like I said, that was one, and I picked up an Amidala um vintage collection that I was missing, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, congrats, Big John. Hope to see next year that your event just keeps growing, man, because it was pretty
Growing.
fun.
Yep. It did
Uh,
look pretty cool. I tried to make it out there, but with my kid doing the and which was weird, our missions did zero anything for Star Wars. Like I thought it was gonna at least be like a Star Wars game or something to have some inflatable lightsabers or something to give
yeah,
away.
something.
Nothing.
No.
Not even dollar hot dogs. Nothing. It
Oh
was
dang.
just a straight up game. My son went out there. It was his first time seeing a baseball game.
Oh nice.
So he sang with his choir group the national anthem, and then we got to chill, watch the game. And by the time it was like the sixth inning, which actually it was a good game, we decided to head on out because it was pretty toasty out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, by the time we got home, and I was like, man, I got maybe about an hour left, and I was like, I'm cooked already. I don't know if I can make it, and fortunately, I didn't get to. But hey, next year we'll be there.
Yeah. 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 For sure. Um, we got Ricky saying party in that Vader's room. Let's go. Let's see. We got
BYOB.
exactly. Got bring your own chair also, because we old. We need to sit down.
Yeah.
Hey Silla, Janine, and Pop says Rob. Hey Johnny says Rob. So yeah, guys. That's kind of catching up with what we've been up to and kind of what we've been celebrating here, like I said, on the channel. So thanks again for everybody for subscribing, getting us to 8,500 subscribers. Again, kind of nuts. But yes, if you haven't, please consider subscribing, and if you already did, please consider sharing the content. Many more stuff to come here, obviously, and we got plenty of big shows lined up for the rest of the year. As we mentioned, Rebels ComCon is in August. We actually might have another one in August. So August is looking kind of busy now that I think about it. Summer, is gonna be our it's usually our con season, right? More or less here in the city. Did we have what's that anime convention also this past weekend, which I didn't even notice, but
Yeah, I
somebody
forgot.
posted pictures about it, and I was like, was that today? Mind you, this is like
Riverwalk
Sunday
Anime.
afternoon. Yeah.
Which I heard
Yeah.
it was a little smaller than the previous year, which
Oh, really?
last year was my first year to go to it. And it was decent size, so they said it
Yeah.
was a little bit smaller, but
Okay.
I mean there was a bunch of stuff going on recently.
Well, because that day or that weekend they had what is it called? Out there in Wonderland Mall, they had the also like the Japanese food festival type of thing. So that draws a big crowd, man. We went by
And that
there.
one's free. That's
Yeah.
a free event compared
Yeah.
to the anime you got to pay to get into.
Right.
So yeah, they're battling not just we call them the mall cons, but
Yeah.
there was also I think the wrapping up. But I don't know if the rodeo had wrapped up or if it was Fiesta that was wrapping up. So people
Oh
might
yeah,
have been
you're right.
tapped out on cash with that
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah. Oh,
it's,
and also, you know what? Saturday was Eggman's toy show. I
oh
forgot.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot. I'm like, I know we did something, which I did go out there. I did spend some money. It's fine. It happens every time. But yeah, I like Eggman's. They usually bring out, cool stuff. And I picked up a couple of the deleted scenes from Return of the Jedi vintage collection. I bought the Luke and I bought the Lando. They had the Leia, the slave outfit Leia. but it was 120.
Ooh.
So it was 120, and it
Yeah.
was nice. Don't get me wrong, like it was good condition. So like I have debated. I'm like, what if I just pick up all three? What if I just pick up all three and like be done with them? But I'm like, nah, that's close to $2 bills. So I'm like, no. I was like, I'll just take the boys for now. Eventually, of course, I do want to pick up that Leia, and just kind of have the set, obviously. But yeah, it was a good show. They always obviously focus a lot. That is, I like that show because it really is a toy show, right? Like that's really all what the vendors take. A couple of them will take comic books, which I'm fine with. But the grand majority is purely toys. Like it's just a bunch of toys. So I love to go hunting out there. I don't know why I keep thinking that it's 2 days, but it's really only one. So
One day,
Saturday
right?
we went out there, me and my boy, and we were only there for like an hour and a half. It was kind of quick because we had a birthday party to get to, and so I'm like, all right, the birthday party's at 4. We got to get there. I was like, we got to get there at noon to still have a little bit of time to shop. That did not happen. We ended up
Yep.
getting there like at 1:30. I'm like, dang it, man! Like, so, which I guess was also kind of good because we only did like one lap, looking at everything, and then I
You
was
could
like, all
have
right,
debated longer on the Leia, right? And
yeah,
then-
exactly, right. And then I would have been like, you know what? Let me come back, and then I'll be like, who am I kidding? I do want it, and then I'm out like $200. But yeah, so it was a good show. But my point is that we actually had a lot going on,
Yeah.
this past weekend, and it's kind of like that, going forward in the summer, right? I mean, San Antonio does have quite a bit going on pretty much every weekend. We have a new horror convention coming up next month.
Yep.
I'm blanking out on the proper name. Is it Big Tex Horror?
It's by Big Tex. I don't remember if it's horror or terror.
Yeah, you're right. It might be Terror. Now that I think
I
about
think
it.
it's terror.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I know it happens at the end of or towards the end of June. They got some good names also going
Their
on.
guest list is pretty stacked.
Exactly. Yeah. And obviously, especially if you are a horror fan, you definitely don't want to miss that one. But yeah, going forward, we are going to have quite a few events, catching up here for the rest of the year. So, we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to meeting you guys if you are local, if you are at the same show. Rebels ComCon seems like we're going to meet a lot of our buddies, there.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm actually pretty excited about that, of course, hanging out with everybody. Last year's was a blast. And honestly, I think this year more people might go. More people might go just in attendance. I mean, like, just general public. But I think a lot more content creators will actually be out there, which is kind of crazy to say because last year there was quite a few of us.
It was like over 20 of us for sure.
Yeah,
were
I think
there.
so. Yeah,
And then
but
my estimate, we're doubled. So
yeah,
40
that's what I
to
was gonna say.
50 creators.
Yeah,
Some are coming on their own. Some are coming as media.
exactly.
So, I mean, for people to come out from all over, like,
Yeah.
I mean, Tony's coming from Florida.
Yeah.
Gabe comes from Cali. Nilda comes from, like, they're coming from all over. I don't know if anybody's coming from far north. I know Explorer of the Force, he's north of us. I don't remember exactly where.
Yeah, where is he? Is he Arkansas? No, it's not Arkansas. It's
It might be Arkansas because he drove it. And Arkansas is
drove,
not that,
didn't he?
that
You're
a
right.
bad drive.
Yeah,
It's
you're
in the
right.
teens. Yeah, and then Turntable Patrick, I don't know where he's out of. Oklahoma, maybe.
Maybe because I know that
Which is not a bad
ICCC is
drive.
not. Yeah, ICCC is not that far from him, so maybe more Tennessee. I'm not sure, but yeah, like you said, there's plenty of people coming down from all over. I believe one Captain Flexi will be joining us as well.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
there's that. Yeah, I think this might be
Flex, you're way up there. Yeah,
yeah,
you might be the furthest one out. Unless I always forget her name. Ray, the one that does the pod racing sound effects.
Yeah.
She said she's trying to come. So
Oh, no
I
way.
think
That's cool.
I think she's in Australia. So if she shows up, that might be the furthest.
That'd be insane. That she wins if she does that.
Yeah.
But yes, my understanding is that our good brother Elijah will be out there, and I want to say, don't quote me on this, but I want to say that's the furthest south he's ever traveled. So
yeah, we're talking about temperatures, and we're like, oh yeah, we hit triple digits, and he's like, triple digits.
He's like, whoa, yeah.
I didn't
What do
sign
you
up for
mean?
this.
Like, yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun. But I did want to talk about a little bit. Um, we're Andorless now.
Oh,
Andor wrapped up uh, in a pretty good way, I think. Like I said, that last episode was something else. Well, okay, eh, the whole season, right? The whole show really was something else. I think overall, right? I've said it before. I don't think all of the episodes are bangers, like 100%, but I do think that most of them are,
yeah.
and that is saying something. Um, so yes, great showing, incredible writing. Um, and we wrapped it up. We left it pretty close to Rogue One, which it was fun to see that it was a number one movie on Disney Plus,
Yeah.
like right
That was
after
pretty cool.
after the finale. Yeah, everybody just
Well,
jumped right into it.
yeah. I say a lot of people they've stopped referring to the show as like two separate things, and they pretty much made a trilogy
Hmm.
out of Andor season 2 and Rogue One. And look at that whole story arc, like that's a banger. That's up there. It's some of
Yeah.
the top stuff we got.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait for somebody to kind of take out like the fluff, and give us
Hmm.
kind of like the Patterson cut type of thing. I don't know if he can do it. I would say he needs at least two movies to sort of put something together like that, because there's a lot that goes on,
Oh
right? But yeah, it'd be kind of cool if he can pull off two movies, right? And then we make that the trilogy with Rogue One, right? So I would think that would be a hell of a watch.
oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so congrats to everybody involved. Some of the highest rated like Star Wars, ever, right? On IMDb, if I remember correctly, one of them actually is up there with the Mandalorian season 2 finale,
Yep.
right? Season finale, which is where Luke comes out. Spoiler alert, sorry. Um, which is again one of the most iconic. If I would still say it's the most iconic, um, moment we've gotten out of the TV shows, right,
Yeah.
for Star Wars. But to match that, that's uh,
To
quite the
match
feat.
that with no Jedi, no
Exactly.
lightsabers, no real space battles of any sort.
No,
Like we saw them kind of fly, but that was about it.
not
Like
really. Yeah, exactly. That was about it.
so, taking away the razzle dazzle, as we like to call
Mhm.
that, and still be going toe to toe, like that says a lot. That definitely
Yeah,
says a lot.
yeah, it really does. And again, it's just a testament to the creative team right behind it. Which, by the way, man, I don't know about you, but I feel that Tony Gilroy has been addressing questions like left and right. Like, I don't know that I've seen so much communication with the director of the show, uh, on any Star Wars, to be honest. Like, of course, you have it like sort of at the beginning, right, when they're promoting the show, and then kind of like at the end, right, when they're like, oh yeah, we wrapped up and it was this and this. But it usually just lasts like a couple of days, and they're like, all right, that's it, moving on. But this dude just keeps putting out stuff. Like, I think today I saw his description of why he thinks the relationship between Jean and Cassian actually makes sense. Even though Biggs is still there like somewhere. And don't quote me on it, but he said something to the likes of, "Hey, Biggs has been gone for a year, right? Both Cassian and Jean are, you know, um, young, beautiful people in this whole like fraternity, right? Setting that they got going on with the rebels." So he's like, it kind of makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you, you know, um, sort of like play around with that? And he acknowledged, I know that the fans have this whole like um head canon, right? Like they've built up this like love story. He's like, and I don't want to. He's like, I don't want to destroy it, but at the same time, it also doesn't make sense. So I kind of have to go what's best for the show. Another comment that he mentioned was that he was kind of ticked off that somebody had already given K2SO an origin story, right? In what was in the comic books, I believe. And he's like, I was aware of that, but I was like, that's not, I didn't call that shot. So I was like, I'm kind of gonna ignore that for a little bit. It's like, and he just like, did his own thing. But my point is that he's been very vocal, very open about the decisions and the directions that the show took, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see, because some of it he's like, yeah, like I didn't know what to do, right? I had to ask like somebody, or I had to ask my son, who apparently is a big fan. I kind of loved it when he's like, that the line like, rebellions are built on hope, right?
Mm.
It's said a couple times on Rogue One, and apparently his son was like, all right, so how are you going to introduce the line? And that he's like, what do you mean? He's like,
What
yeah,
line?
like, yeah, exactly, like what line? It's like, well, rebellions are built on hope, right? Like that was a very rememberable line from Rogue One. Like it had to come from somewhere. And he's like, oh, he's like, I didn't think about that. Like it's like, I just thought, that's something that people say. And he's like, not in Star Wars. Like that was just not said before, so you kind of own it. You have to give us, bit of an explanation where that came from, where that Cassian get it. And he's like, so I'm scrambling there, like trying to think like, how do I fit this, properly into the story? So kind of that stuff, like I said, it's kind of refreshing for him
I
to
wonder how many,
reveal.
like, he's writing and he's like, Andor goes into the cafeteria and he's like,
Exactly.
I hope it's meatloaf. Lunch
Yes,
lady says
exactly
says
right.
the line. Like,
Yeah,
no, that doesn't
rebellions
work.
are built
Scratch
on
it
hope. Like,
out.
nah, we're gonna leave that on the B pile. Like maybe. um, yeah, dude. So it's good. I think overall it's been a majorly positive acceptance by the fan, and even from people that just like TV. A lot of people just enjoy the show really for what it is, which is just good TV.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just
What I
it's
liked within our community was people that were like down on it and just
mm-hmm.
like, this is not for me. I don't like it. And they were like, dude, you got to give it a chance. And then we
Yep.
hit some banger episodes and like,
Yeah.
just watch this and then go back and watch the other stuff.
Right.
And they actually gave it a chance and listened. And then they came back like, all right, that's pretty dope. Like,
Yeah.
see, told you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, and we talked about it, with our show with Nilda when we were basically reviewing every arc. To me, the first arc, I loved it. But the second arc, to be honest with you, got me like, I'm like, we kind of have to move on from here. Like, I'm kind of done with this theme. To me, honestly, I think the third arc is probably the best one in terms of keeping us on the edge of our seat. And like we were all just like, what's gonna happen? Like, and the funny thing is that we know what happens, right? Like we know what the end game is or what the ending is, but it's just good writing that you're like, you're like, oh, are they gonna catch Mon Mothma? I'm like, dude, we've known for 7 years that they don't. We've known for that specific moment from Rebels. We've known for 10 years that they don't because she's in Rogue One at that period. So it's like we know. But in that moment, right, you're caught up in the writing, you're caught up in the scene that you're like, oh my lord, like I think they got her, and they're like, no, they didn't. Like this, but
Yeah.
So to me, I think the third arc as a whole, as the combination of the 3 episodes, was probably the best one written, like cohesively, like throughout. The last arc, of course, is great. We had some great moments. But like I said, I felt that there was a little bit of a drop on that middle episode. With Clay, I think it took a little bit too long to get to kind of where we were going. But anyway, overall, amazing show. I think in general, most fans agree. Like you said, it brought a lot of them back, to Andor, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Nope.
When a Star Wars fan says, "I don't like this," oof, man, beware. So congrats to the team, congrats to Diego. I kind of love seeing him, all over the place, just promoting the stuff. And he was on May the 4th. He was on Disneyland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just representing out there. So it was great to see him in Japan, of course. And I'll show you guys once I film the video, the whole video for Japan. I got a pretty cool autograph. He was actually kind of shocked, so I'll throw a little clip in there because I was filming him as he was signing it, and he's like, "Oh, he's like, look at this!" Like he literally like says that, and then the guy, I guess, I don't know if it's his staff or like the convention staff, but anyway, the staff was like, "No, you can't film it." He just goes like this to my phone. I'm like, "Dang it, man!" Like I'm trying. So I caught a little bit of it, but yeah, I caught some audio as I was talking to him, right? But yes, it was he definitely did not expect that one. So yeah, I'll show you guys, here soon when we do the whole video. Um, but we kind of, how we are. We're like, all right, that was great, that was so awesome. All right, what's next?
Yeah.
Like moving
What's
on.
next?
Exactly. Thanks, but when's the next thing? So the next things in chronological order, I believe, are as follows here. So we got Andor season 2 wrapped up. This year in October, we are getting Visions Volume 3, which, as announced in Celebration, we will be having continuation of a couple of stories that we saw in the previous 2 seasons. One of them, of course, being the Ronin, right? So we are gonna get a continuation of that one. Then we're gonna have Maul the Shadow Lord, which I'm pretty excited about that one. I think that
Yep.
one's gonna be a banger of a show. Can't wait. We always wanted to expand. The thing is, there is a story there already, right, from the comic books and stuff. So I'm kind of curious to see how much they'll adhere to that. Um, then after that, we got the Ninth Jedi. So this is what they're calling Visions Present. They talked about it in the panel, in the celebration panel. Basically, they're like, hey, Visions will remain what it is, right? Kind of like a fast-paced, short format, right? Storytelling. But we felt that some of these characters, have the potential to be like more. So it seems that the Ninth Jedi will be the first one to get like an actual expanded series. Now, I don't know if that means that they get, 13 episodes, right? Like full on episodes, or if we get just maybe 10 shorts, right? Maybe 10 5-minute shorts or something like that. I don't know that I have seen anything like length of run for the show, but it's interesting. I'm here for it. It's gonna be fun. To me, Visions lives in its own little bubble, right? Like that's just about the only place where visually Star Wars can just go out and play.
Yeah.
That they don't got to worry about who's who was born before who, and who's supposed to be alive at that point, and who's good and who's bad. Um, is the Empire there? Is the First Order there? Is the Sith Empire there? Like they just go right. They're like, this looks pretty cool. We're gonna make a fun story with it. It might have a lightsaber or two. Moving on, right? Like,
Yeah.
so again, I've grown to enjoy Visions for what it is. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. Of course, visually they're amazing. Like all of them are amazing, like visually. But I was like, all right, this is cool and all, but you kind of watch it and you're done, right?
Yeah.
But now, to be honest with you, since we have more stuff that's pretty loaded with the lore, right, or pretty loaded with the canon, I'm like, you know what? This is kind of refreshing. Like if I don't really have to think about it, right? If I
Just
just
enjoy
kind of sit down, enjoy it for what it is, a cool lightsaber fight or a cool race or a cool, starship fight. And that's it, visually it's amazing. With a little bit of story, of course, it's not like it's just pure, senseless animation. And then you kind of finish it and you're like, you know what? That was pretty fun. That's pretty fun. It's good to see what Star Wars can do when a little bit outside of the box, and you kind of move on, right? So I kind of do enjoy it more now, I think. So yes, so this will be the first series, the Ninth Jedi, and then we're gonna have Ahsoka season 2, which is currently filming. If you guys seen those posts, they actually began a week after Celebration, which was funny because Dave Filoni had an Ahsoka panel, right? Obviously with Rosario Dawson, um, John Favreau, and Hayden Christensen joined. And so they kind of talk about, the production, blah, blah, going on. He's like, all right. He's like, I want to show you something. And everyone's like, wow. And then he goes, I haven't filmed a single frame. He's like, I got nothing to show you. He's like, calm down. And they're like, what? And so Rosario was laughing. He's like, guys, seriously, we begin next week. Like, we literally haven't shot anything, like not a single frame. Like, we don't got anything. We don't even have pictures yet, like to show you. And everybody's like, oh. But Dave Filoni did put together like a sizzle reel with some of his concept art and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
he made it like a 80s type of trailer, like movie trailer, with like the voice and like coming soon, and from the people that brought you, like Ahsoka and like the Mandalorian and stuff, and it was great, dude. It was so fun. Some interesting stuff, and he told us, he's like, you're gonna see some stuff that you don't know what it is. He's like, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So he's like, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, not yet. And so excited for that, of course. I think Ahsoka is, the spiritual successor to Rebels and
Mhm.
to Clone Wars, right? A little bit. This is definitely Dave Filoni's baby, so he's playing a lot of care for it, writing all this stuff. So I'm sure it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. Um, we are gonna have a new actor, play Valen Skull. Valen Skull is integral to season 2, as he predicted, or as he foresaw it. And so yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a good show. I'm excited to expand the lore about the Mortis gods, right? Because that's kind of what it seems that we're leading
Yep.
on to. So yeah, Ahsoka season 2 coming hopefully soon. Um, and then we got Carlton Nick's show, which untitled for now, right? So we'll see. This is already kind of a couple years away, in our timeline. So we'll see if that happens. And then the last one, here, Mandalorian season 4, it's still just kind of a rumor, right? We know we're gonna see the movie next year.
I wonder if they're just banking on it. Like, if the movie is a banger, let's go to the well one more time,
Exactly.
tap it out, and then I feel like that's kind of a. I don't know. I don't think I'd be that happy. Like, if the movie's a banger and they leave it open ended, great. But if the
Mhm.
movie's a banger and it closes nicely, then why even go for a season 4? Like,
That's the thing. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
yeah,
I'm reminded of like oh my lord, what's it called with Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is
yeah.
one of the few shows that I was like, this was great. Like the length of it, is what, 4, 5 seasons? I'm blanking out right now, but it's not that many seasons, and it ended great. And I never really felt that they were overstretching it, right? It's just one of those shows that are like, no, we know the story we want to tell. We got this much to tell it, and then we're done. And it was one of the hottest shows, of its time. It's still one of the hottest
Oh, it's
shows,
still,
like
yeah.
on rewatch. Um, but they didn't get greedy,
Yep.
and because of it, we got a great show that just caps off perfectly. Yes, we got a spin-off, which is pretty good, by the way. If you haven't seen it, I haven't finished it, so I'm way behind. So no spoilers. But that's kind of where I go back to. I'm like, I wish more shows had that kind of vision, right? So to your point, I think that's what it is. I think they're like, okay, we got a movie. It's gonna be, basically the same theme and the same characters as the show, right? If it does like amazing, okay, maybe we consider moving on with a proper season 4, right? um who knows, that might be the final season, right? That maybe they're like, hey, we got one more and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Or like you said, if it doesn't go that great, then be like, all right, we got one more to get it right, and then then we're
Yeah.
out, right? Like regardless. um so yeah, it is going to be interesting to see this. I kind of have to believe we still got one more season, right, of the Mandalorian. That's
The one thing I'm thinking too is, like, movies banger, leave it open ended, come to season 4, and you still want to keep something relative, because the Mandalorian, like, yes, we know Din Djarin, that's the Mandalorian, but there's Mandalores all over. So do we want to continue on with more Bo and like do a spin-off with her, spin-off
exactly.
to other Mandalorians? Grogu's gonna live to be forever. So,
Yeah,
if he's already on the path to the Mandalorian, so, like, is it gonna
very
continue
much
with
so.
him? Like, there's a lot that they could do there to keep it going if they wanted to. But
Yep.
again, like you're saying, like, you need to know when to end it,
Yeah.
or otherwise you turn into The Walking Dead.
Oh,
That
dude,
show,
yes.
geez.
Jeez, yeah, and that's because they spawn off what, 3, 4 times already,
Yeah.
And then those have actually, died off, and the main show still goes on. I'm like, dude, that it should be an indication, man. Like, at some point, you just gotta stop,
Yeah.
Um,
They literally turned into a series that is exactly what they're saying. There's a Walking Dead. It's just like
Literally.
it drags and it
he just
drags,
drags. Exactly.
drags and drags. Oh, zombie! Got him.
Yeah,
Back to talking forever, and it's like, oh my
exactly.
god, just end the show.
Yeah, I know. I'm like 10 seasons behind. I dropped it like years ago, dude. But yes, very much so. And I would hate for these great characters, to sort of go that route.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, let us know which one you're excited about. Like I said, this year that we know of, we'll get Visions Volume 3, right, in October. So we don't got much going on in the sense of releases for the year. And it seems that Disney Plus is moving to one live action show per year, right? Which again, it doesn't really bother me if we're gonna get good quality, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Bangers 24/7. Give me
exactly.
1 year. I'll be okay with it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Now, I will say this though, still give us that Tales of every May 4th, like every year.
Yeah.
Give us some shorts, man. Just keep us, just keep us happy like that.
And the animated stuff is always hit pretty decent. Like,
Yeah.
It's not. It's like a safe card for them. Like,
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
got the ace in the sleeve. Let's go ahead and play it. And perfect timing too is, right when it comes to May 4th, drop it, and that'll get us into that summer hump. Kind of get us talking about it, and then maybe there'll be a film release. Maybe there'll be a show release.
yeah.
Like so.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a couple movies, right, announced. So we know that the Mandalorian's coming next year, and then we got Starfighter the following year. So we got a lineup going on next couple years. So we'll see if it actually happens, right? Mandalorian, I'm pretty sure it will. That movie seems to be pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah.
So I
mean,
think
they already
that one will
dropped
be
the
fine.
trailer, so it's
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they haven't dropped the trailer. They've only done the trailer at Celebration.
Correct. Yeah.
General public release, not yet.
Yeah, exactly. But everything in there looked, finished, right? And
yeah,
they're talking about it like, maybe it's not 100%, complete, but man, it's got to be like 90% complete at this point for sure.
Oh yeah.
So we got Bro Lauren in the house. What's going on, Alice?
Oh.
Appreciate you coming in, man. Saying howdy, y'all. I know we'll see you at Rebels Comic-Con, bro. Hey, we got Action Joe Fix in the house. Just got in. Good evening. What's up, man? Thanks so much for joining us. Oh, look who it is. We got Archer in the house. He heard we said Andor. He's like, oh, I have to wake up for this. I gotta join in. I love Andor so much. Excited for Visions. There you go. Yeah, like I said, I'm honestly excited for the continuation of the stories. The Ronin was obviously, I think, probably the most popular one so far on both seasons. So what little we saw of it, at Celebration for the second part, it looks pretty interesting. Visually, obviously, it's going to look gorgeous. Archer says, I like them to do more what if style series so we can see alternate stories with characters we know. Yeah. They did it in the comic books for the original trilogy, and those were fun. They weren't like a big hit, but it had some fun elements to it. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a what if series. Now, I say that, but I haven't even watched the last one from Marvel, so I wouldn't mind like maybe like a 5 to 10 shorts. What if? And then maybe leave it like that for a couple more years. Like
I want the what ifs of not like necessarily like the main characters, but like your supporting characters.
That'd be interesting.
Like, what if R2 was not picked?
Exactly. Right.
Like that changes the whole story arc, right?
Yeah. And turns out he becomes, like an assassin droid because he's like, those dang farmers didn't want me. Yeah, exactly. And then, he ends up taking out, Luke on the X-Wing, right? Because he infiltrates it, disguises himself as R5. He's like, hey, remember me? Bam, short circuit. And then, it just explodes. I'm just saying that's free money right there. You're welcome, Disney.
He doesn't explode him. He ejects him.
Exactly,
and
man.
He still has control of the X-Wing, swings it around and takes out the rest of the Rebel fleet.
Takes out the Falcon. Oh, my Lord. Imagine. Dude, I'm sold. Dang it, man! Now I want to see this. Johnny says, I really do appreciate you coming by, Junior. I couldn't believe when I saw you, bro. It was an entire honor to have you. No, for sure, man. Like I said, we always try to support our local friends. Obviously, we want the community to grow everywhere, especially here at home, right? Especially here in San Antonio. And like I told you, man, we need a little bit more. How can I say, a little bit more specialized, like Star Wars centric, event. Again, especially for May the 4th, it just makes perfect sense. There are a couple of events, but they're not like, I don't know how to say it because I don't want to put them down either, but they do lack a little bit of focus, like
the vocal point is Star Wars, but it's very loose.
Exactly.
Like we've gone to, and it's not just Star Wars, it's like everything. Like they'll do
Oh,
a
yeah,
themed like 80s games, right? And then you show up and somebody's selling like their horror figures or like horror t-shirts, and it's like that's their niche, and they got a booth, and there's people that are going to buy from it, so that's cool, but it's not 100% vocalized to
Correct.
be that theme, which Johnny did have a good amount of vendors out there that were like, he walked every single table and showed all the inventory they had, and
everything
it was all Star Wars.
Which is
custom
like I
made
said,
stuff, licensed stuff. It was all there.
Yeah, absolutely. And me, I mean, of course, I love the toys, and that they had quite a bit. Actually, I was a little bit surprised. Like I said, I try to not go overboard, because at that point I'd been back from Japan like a week, so I'm like, I just still gotta wait for the next paycheck, But yeah,
credit card still glowing.
Oh yeah, dude, going red. Yeah. We got Galactic Cantina in the house. What's going on, man? Saying hello there. Appreciate you joining, man. Thank you. Andrew was awesome. I can't wait for Ahsoka season 2 for sure. Galactic Cantina says, Solid Rosario canceled the con. I'm going to, oh no way. Next week I have both photo and auto book, but I'm sure I'll have fun. We'll learn stuff at the Star Wars team. Dang, man, that sucks. But yeah, she's busy, dude. She's busy right now, filming, Ahsoka season 2. Rob saying, gotta go, see you, everyone. Appreciate you joining, man. Thank you so much. You know what? Daryl show is actually pretty dang good. Oh, really? From The Walking Dead, I think he means the spin-off. Interesting, dude. I'm sorry, but I see The Walking Dead and I tune off like immediately. Like
Daryl's, it was pretty good. But I watched it when I was traveling for work. So like after a 14-hour day, I was just a zombie myself watching it. But I mean, it was entertaining for sure. And it's kind of weird, like how he's in his situation. I won't spoil it just in case you someday watch it. But it's kind of interesting how he ended from the main series to this. It's kind of weird. So it's interesting. I liked it.
I just remember reading something that he's off like in France or something like that. And
I
was like, what?
How? They were in North Carolina. How did he get into France?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, whoa. Galactic Cantina says, it would be fun if Tales seasons were longer, keeping the 3 episodes per chapter, but more than just 2 character stories, maybe 4 characters, so 12 episodes in total. I agree with you, but here's the thing. I think we have to sacrifice one or the other. We can either get, like you said, 12 episodes, but every 2 years, right? Or we can get, 6 episodes every year.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I'm kind of, now that we've gotten it for 3 years, I'm kind of good with that cadence. I'm kind of good. Like, hey, every May the 4th, I got something to wake up to, watch, and I'm gonna enjoy it. And it's gonna be, an hour watch, and then I'm out. And it's gonna be bangers, right? Because let's be honest, they've all been pretty good. Some better than others, for sure. But overall, they're all really good stories. Let's see. Lego Rebuild the Galaxy is pretty much a what if. You know what? You got a point. I have not finished it. But yeah, you got a point. You got a point there. Nerdophilia says the last Marvel What If series was horrible. Let's not hire that team. There you go. That's what I'm saying, dude. I was super excited for the first one. I watched them the day they dropped, and I was like, all right, there were some pretty good ones in here. Some of them were like, I kind of saw that coming, but some of them were like, all right, I dig it. And then we got the second one. And I forget I think I missed it. Like I wasn't even aware that it was dropping that day. So I watched it like a week after, and I'm like, all right, yeah, we could do that. And then what is it, 3 or 4? I don't even remember anymore. I'm like, dude, I'll eventually watch it. And then I never did. So We got Juan in the house saying hello there, Bunker Bunch. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming in, man. So yeah, guys, that's what we got sort of in the pipeline right now. Interesting stuff. Remember, this is kind of the series. Look at it. We do have a movie next year, which I'm very much looking forward going to the theater and just watching Star Wars again, man, on the big screen. I'm so ready for that. And we do have, of course, Starfighter coming out in 2 years, right? Which I'm like, those dudes need to get to filming like now. Because holy crap, dude! Like from announcement to release in 2 years, that's a marathon. That's crazy.
And not only that, if it's going to be which I assume heavily space battle type stuff going on,
exactly.
that is a lot of CGI, and those guys need a ton of time to get that stuff perfect.
Agreed. No, I agree. Which I'm here for, man. Like I need some space battles. That's I not told you. Yeah. That's something that I missed on Andor for sure. Because we kind of had the ingredients, we kind of had the rebel fleet, forming. So I'm like, oh, a little skirmish here and there, but no, not too much. But I was like, all right, it's fine. It's an expensive show as it is. I get it, but still, I was like, a little battle here and there wouldn't hurt you. So I'm very much, like you said, I'm very much hoping that Starfighter really does mean like, hey, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna blow stuff up in space, and then come down to a planet that we don't know, blow stuff up there, and then like hyperspace out to another battle that's going on parallel, and just kind of, I'm not saying that the whole movie has to be like, space fighting, but dang, dude, I'm at the very least, I want like 30% of it to be, like space fighting. So,
oh man, you're generous. I want 50%.
Like, oh yeah, I mean, I'll take 50 for sure, but I'm saying like the bare minimum at this point. Galactic Cantina says cinema has been good lately. It's getting better. 2025 is a good year. Yeah, you know what? The movies this year have been pretty solid. Now that you mention it, what do we got coming up next? Let me think. What's our next? Lilo and Stitch. It's coming out.
Lilo and Stitch coming out. Yeah.
Dang it, man!
When does that 28 years?
Oh, you
later,
know what? That's
when does
right.
that come out? I'm excited for that
coming
one.
out. Yeah, same, dude. I'm a huge fan of the first two movies.
Yeah.
Very different, but very enjoyable, both of them. So yes, I'm very excited about that one. What else do we got? Oh, we watched Minecraft movie. Way more entertaining than I thought it was gonna be. I'll be honest with you. Pretty fun watch. Dude, Thunderbolts. I don't know that I talked about it, but Thunderbolts.
That was
excuse
banging.
Me. RIP New Avengers.
Avengers.
Which, by the way, kudos to who thought about that. Sort of like rebranding and sending the Winter Soldier physically out there in LA. Oh my lord, dude, that was the best. Yeah, and like he's just like, all right, we got one done. Next. Oh my lord, dude. Like I'm like,
that was
dude,
awesome.
My head's off to that publicity team. Like for real. But yeah, New Avengers, man, was pretty enjoyable. Like I was not expecting it. I was not really excited about the film when they announced it. But as it kind of, gained a little bit of traction, I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. And when I saw it, I'm like, dang, this is good. Like I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was gonna.
It had the right amount of a message in there too, where it was like wasn't super overbearing in it, but you're like, ooh, damn, I got you, Marvel. I got what you're putting down,
dude. Right. So even my wife was like, you know what? That was surprisingly good. She's like, I don't, and she doesn't really go for superhero movies that much. She's like, I kind of like that. It had I forget how she said it, but basically saying it had more heart, body thought, or imagined, I guess. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like it definitely hit some feelings there that I wasn't expecting the movie to do so. But yeah, I enjoyed it. The kid is like, who are all these people? Like I don't remember any of them. I'm like, I don't blame you, buddy. It's all right. Archer says, feels like we went from no Star Wars dropping to a bunch in a 6 months time frame. Yeah. And like I said, I'm totally okay with the one show a year if it's a banger, right? If they do good, I'm okay with it. Juan is saying I want at least 70%. Yeah, dude, I wish. Mission Impossible, that's right.
Oh yeah. Did you see the trailer on that?
I don't remember.
When you do see the trailer, get a stopwatch and time the amount of time in the trailer that Tom Cruise is running.
Oh,
I felt like that trailer was him just sprinting the
That's it.
whole time in
Yep.
different scenes.
Yep.
It's like, where's he
believe it.
going?
Yeah. Why is he always
Trying
in
to
a
Forrest
hurry?
Gump.
Yeah, he needs to plan his schedule better, you know. But yeah, I forgot about that Galactic Cantina. Good call. Mission
Yeah,
Impossible, the
Oh,
final
he's got a few
for
more
real
lists coming
this
up here.
time
Jeez.
reckoning, whatever it's called. F1.
F1. It's Formula Racing, I think.
Oh yeah. Right. Superman.
Superman.
Yeah. Avatar. I'm sorry, Avatar. Not a huge fan of the Avatar. The Blue Cats. Right. We're talking about the Blue Cats.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of Avatar franchise. I've seen him for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll watch it, but again, like I'm with you. The first one I thought was, okay, this is different. Like I like it. It's cool.
yeah, I
The
liked it
second
visually,
one,
but yeah, the
yeah, I
second one I
started
was
like,
like, oof,
that's not for me.
yeah, that was same, dude, same. I'll be honest with you, I think I only saw it once.
Yeah, same.
And I was like, eh. So yeah, they're successful movies, and don't
Oh,
ask
yeah.
me why, but they are insanely successful. So they'll keep making them till there's
Visually
7 or 8
beautiful.
of them. Yeah, visually they're super great, but yeah, like I said, story was just not there for me from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'll watch it. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna see it like ever, but I mean, they come out in December, so there's slim pickings usually around that time. So I might watch it in theaters just because there's probably not much else.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, I'm pretty excited about. Conjuring, man, which Conjuring is it at this point? I used to be
Were we
all.
watching all the like from the start of like
Have
Nun
you?
all the way? Yeah, we're
Oh,
getting
that's
ready for
beautiful.
that. And I'm watching all of it and I'm like slowly making those connections. And he's like, oh snaps, like that chick's connected to the story. Like,
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Which
So
Conjuring now is this? It was like 3, 4?
That 5?
Oh lordy,
I could be
yeah,
wrong because
I'm behind.
I'm like I said, I got a whole list that I'm going through, like
Nice.
Nun 2,
Oh yeah.
Annabelle Creation, Conjuring
Which, by the
2.
way, what the heck? Apparently Annabelle was in town.
Dude,
This past
yeah.
weekend.
I'm just waiting for a building to catch on fire. And
So seriously, I was like, who thought this was a good idea? I'm like, who actually signed off on this? Like,
I like the people
whoa.
who are like, hey guys, at some point we're probably gonna pass, but whatever y'all do not move the doll. As soon as they're out, they're like, we're going on tour.
Moving on tour. Yeah. I'm like, dude, seriously? First spot. Oh, catches fire. I'm like, dude, come on. Like,
Yeah.
let
Prisoners
that not.
break out of a prison.
Oh,
Buildings
yeah,
are catching on
yeah.
fires. I'm
I'm
like,
like, come on,
dude,
man. Like, do you want zombies? Because that's how you get zombies. Like,
that's
seriously.
how we get zombies.
Oh, Lord.
Dead
But
will
yeah.
rise.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, I was like, dude, who? Oh, my Lord. Like, yeah. Anyway, poor Warrens are turning over in their grave. They're like, what did we say? We literally wrote it on the dang thing. Like, it's on the glass.
On the case.
Yeah. Oh, my Lord. Predator. Dude, Predator has been doing great.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, it was always a fun franchise, but it kind of died off a little bit there in the mid 2010s around there. But it is coming back in force.
Yeah.
They got a movie, they got an animated sort of anthology, right? If I understood correctly, which I'm very excited about, to be honest, because I thought that concept was going to be the movie, and no, they're actually making it animated. So I'm like, ooh, this is fun. This is going to be a fun territory. And then we're still getting a movie, which I'm like, dude, I'm set. Happy Gilmore, you're right. Tron Ares, I was like, Tron. But I watched the trailer and I'm like, all right, that looks kind of cool.
It's a little different than the Tron that we're used to.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay, I can get down with this.
Yeah. And then you're right, Juan. We got the 3rd or 4th at this point, I don't even know, reboot of Jurassic Park World.
Which this one is going to be the first crossover because they have the Rancor in there.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if you saw that trailer.
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm like, man, like they're not
this
even.
This is where they keep
anymore.
the most dangerous one. He comes out.
Yeah,
that's the Rancor. Like, what you doing here,
like, bro? Like that's somebody's a fan. But yeah, I'm like, dude, they're not even dinosaurs anymore. I'm like, just call them, genetic mutant monsters, like something. I'm like, I don't know. And what was it, the Indoraptor, and then the miniaturized Velociraptor, whatever that one was called. And then this thing, I'm like, dude, come on, man. At least the Jurassic Park ones were like dinosaurs still, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they moved from like one island to another. They're like, oh, in that other one, there's one pretty bad one, like worse than the T-Rex. I'm like, all right, I'll buy it. But this one is like, no. So we couldn't find any more bad one, like real one. So we made one. And then no, that one's too big. You know what? We're gonna make it small so it can
Smaller.
fit where people, live. I'm like, dude, come on. And then this one is like, all right, we're off. This is a freaking alien. Here you go.
Yeah,
So
it's gotten pretty crazy.
yeah,
Where
yeah,
I appreciate them trying to extend the story because I do love the franchise.
yeah,
Um, but I feel like you're getting like way far away from the original material. Like,
dude, yeah.
and again, we're getting into the territory of like, just let it end. Like, yes, it's a moneymaker. We understand that people will go watch it, but you're sacrificing story here, and
Yeah,
you're
dude.
gonna end
Hardcore.
it on a bad note. You're gonna do like what Sylvester Stallone when he's
Yeah,
talking about Rocky.
yeah,
Like he didn't like there was still some more, hype. They did 5 and that was like, oh, that was a horrible mistake. And then he sat on it for years until he was able to come back and kind of give it a nice, finish. And then they
yeah.
keep on going. So it's
And
like,
then yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, 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 yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure I'll watch it at some point. But yeah, like I said, and that one's like, oh man, come on. That thing out there is not a dinosaur. Yeah, that's the name of the franchise now because half of those things are not even dinosaurs anymore, dude.
welcome
Um,
to what is that park?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, welcome to the genetic blender that this franchise is now.
We took a
Um,
T-Rex and sloth from the Goonies and we mixed them together.
exactly. You mix them together. Shoot them into space, and then that's
Oh,
what you
that's
get now.
dude. That's what if the franchise goes to space, it's done. That's
I'm
where
telling you,
all
at
series
this
goes
point,
to
yeah,
die.
yeah, exactly. Look at what happened to Jason. From Friday the 13th. You took him to space, didn't pan out, did it?
Yep.
But yeah, dude, it's getting nuts. But like you said, fortunately or unfortunately, they're gonna do a ton of money.
Oh,
With the movie. So there's that.
it's all about merchandising.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Jurassic Camino. Oh, I kind of like that. But yeah, guys. So that's it for us. We just wanted to catch up here with y'all. Thank you once again for joining us here on another episode of The High Ground. We got some fun stuff still coming up this year.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars in terms of content, we don't have much really. We're only relying on Visions Volume 3 in October. And then next year is gonna be a good amount, I think. But 2027, man, oof. Which actually we should start looking at hotels now that I think about it, because
I've been talking to other guys to see what their game plan is
yeah.
because apparently Evan used to live out there, and he's
Oh
like
yeah.
that area that you got like a real small area
Hmm.
that's like the prime, and then he's like the rest of it ain't that good, and he's like, but if you stay outside of that, like Airbnb it, and then I made a joke, I was like, we'll get a party bus and we'll party bus it, and he's like, but so they're
Yeah.
they're also looking too, so I know
Nice.
those hotels are gonna be stupid expensive.
Yeah, that's the thing. But man, that at the same time, because I lived it with Japan, I'm like, God, to stay away from it, it's also a pain, So it's like,
Yeah.
at what
Well, yeah,
point?
you were waking up hours early
Yeah, bro.
to
Yeah,
get there, to wait
on
in
a
line.
on a
Like,
yeah, exactly. On a regular day, it was a 45-minute trip, right, to get to the place and then stand in line, like you said.
yeah,
Whereas most of these dudes, they just waddled off from bed and they were there pretty much, 10 minutes later. So I'm like, I do like that, but a great, like you said, money wise, it's definitely a big difference. But yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll probably should start, looking into dates and maybe even booking something just to have it.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah. All right. Again, thank you so much. Jeff saying, great show, guys. Appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you so much. Buddy up and sleepy bags. Yeah, dude, for
Oh,
sure.
that's gonna happen for sure.
Yeah, whatever gets us more money for collectibles, I'm down. So once again, thank you everybody for joining us. We really appreciate you. Please make sure that you're checking us out over on Instagram at the Dad Vader. We are also on Facebook, General Kenobi's Bunker, all one word. We are also on Instagram, general.kenobis.bunker, on TikTok, general_Kenobis_bunker, and on Threads, general.kenobis.bunker. bunker. Also, I would greatly appreciate it if you swing by our second channel, El Búnker del General Kenobi, where I've started finally uploading some content. It's one of those things, I'm barely keeping up with the regular channel, but I've uploaded day 1 of celebration in Spanish. Day 2, I should schedule it for tomorrow, actually. So that'll be dropping soon. And I just finished editing day 3, so that will be coming up probably over the weekend. So make sure to check it out. If you have anybody that speaks Spanish, friend, family, worst enemy, just let them know that they can check us out over there. So appreciate y'all. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend, and we will catch you on the next one. See y'all.